Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So I've got the same clothes on as my other video, but it's a completely different topic this, and I really want to discuss it. It's all about this League of Nations, or Nations League, or Nations Championship, or whatever they want to call it. There's obviously been a lot of pros for it. A lot of people are really keen on it. I know Argent Picho, or the guy came up with the whole idea. I can see his reasoning behind it of wanting it. Obviously, the TV deals look quite impressive, but obviously I just think they're throwing around numbers at the moment. One place was £5 billion over 10 years, that's a serious cash injection and it really would help a lot of the Southern Hemisphere sides. We just don't have the same kind of resources as the Northern Hemisphere teams, for whatever reason. Currency, maybe we've got too many players, or whatever. For whatever reason, we've got dwindling support. So having that cash injection, I think they were talking $6 to $14 million each year per. That math doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. $7.5 billion, whatever the maths is. They were talking about $7 to $14 million per country per year. But like I said, the math just doesn't make sense over 10 years, because if it was 7, that would be 70 million times 8. Jeez, my maths is really bad. 63, 54. It's already $500 million. So yeah, the money just seems just too good to be true. Because where's this money at the moment? So where is this money at the moment? I don't understand it. I don't understand how they're going to get the money. Maybe they're going to get the TV deals because they'll be able to negotiate for it. My biggest concern is, okay, I live in a developing nation. I live in South Africa, and we're not known for being not super above board, but there's a lot of corruption that happens. And when he's talking about serious money, corruption happens. And this is from the same organization that brought us. They did a whole big thing. They got an independent company to come check which country was the best country to host the World Cup. And they came back and they said, well, South Africa deserved to host the World Cup. Biggest stadiums would make the most money. And so they go through this whole thing. The company comes, and then they have a secret vote to and then they give it to France. So it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And that's the same organization that's going to be controlling the money. $5 billion over 10 years. That's a serious amount of cash. It's $500 million dollars a year, or pounds a year. And I just think it's such a secretive organization. They keep everything so close. Their books are closed, that I'm very, very suspect. So yeah, I just don't know if the money's going to filter all the way down. And I understand that they want to have a lot of tier 2 nations, and they have a second competition, promotion, relegation. Excellent for the sport. But then obviously the money's going to go to them. But at the end of the day, most of the money should go to the tier 1 nations, because they're the ones that are playing the big 12 games, or 11 games, or how many games, are 200 and something games for the year that people actually watch on the television. Look, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm still a little bit suspect on it. I'm not 100% sold on it. My other big concern is, a lot of players have brought that up, is especially about the player welfare. I've been thinking for a while that they want to create a global season, but I honestly feel that they should actually create a global player passport. I can't think of another word for it. And basically it states that a player can only play 25 games in the year, or 30 games in the year. That's it. And each gets stamped in a book. Obviously I'm going really old school there, but there'd be a record of how many games you've played in the year. If you've been injured through the major part of the season, you can go play in Japan, or you can go play in another league to make up your 25 or 30 games for the year. But then once you've reached that 30, that's it. You cannot play any more games. And I'm just talking about player welfare here. I'm not talking, I think it's a great idea to before having a global season, let's start looking after our players globally. It's not about the money, it's about their well-being, because there's a lot of motor neuron disease, and there's a lot of diseases that come around from a contact sport. Punch drunk, as they call it, when you take too many head knocks. So I think first prize is, let's start managing the players a little bit better, managing their welfare, their well-being, making sure that there's insurance policies in place. So I think maybe having a global passport where it records all the games, and then maybe there is an international players association where obviously all pay money into it, and they're all insured, so they get the best healthcare regardless of where you are in the world. So if you're a Madagascan rugby player and you belong to the Madagascar national side, and you've got your passport, you belong to an association that takes care of you. So if you get a major neck injury, you're taken care of, and I think that's first prize, because once we've sorted that out, then it makes it quite easy for him to say, okay, I play 11 internationals for the year, leaves me 18 to 20 games that I can play for my club or for my Super Rugby side, and that's it. I think that's a better idea to start off with, because then we're dealing with, at the end of the day, rugby is entertainment. If I could play rugby the way that the rugby players play, I'd be playing it. I'm rugby players. Excuse my language. I actually don't swear on this channel, and that was really bad of me. I apologize. So I'm going to bleep that out. I was a pretty bad rugby player. I wasn't very good. Yeah, I played first a couple of times for my school, and I loose head prop, but I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the thing. But that's neither here nor there. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed that the rules are so complex that some teams never play other teams, and I can talk to other fans, and I can say, no, my team's the best, and they say their team is the best, and we look at the breakdown and we go, no, we look at the scrum, and I can look at the scrum and say, no, that he's hinging, and he can look at the scrum and says, no, his knee's touching the ground. It's a complex game, so that's why I love it. But I think first prize, let's take care of the players first. Once we know that a player can only play 25 games for the year, we know that they're fully insured, that they're taken care of by the association, then we say, okay, now that we've sorted that out, let's create a product that works around it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good idea having some kind of passport. I think it's the way forward. We can really control player welfare, and that's the most important thing. Look, I'd like to see every year who the best side is. Look, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be New Zealand 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10. But it could be Wales, it could be Ireland, it could be England, it could be South Africa, Australia on the day. It would be really nice to know who the top sides are. I'm glad that they're not going to mess with the Lions. I think it would be atrocious if they mess with the Lions. I think the Lions is probably the most exciting of the series that come, because it's just got so much history, and I look forward, even when they play Australia or they play New Zealand, I look forward to it. It's the best of the best that are coming here or playing there, and it's good, exciting rugby, and I don't want them to mess with the World Cup. I just don't know what kind of worth the World Cup would have after having a national league. But I'm sure it would still be, because you still got to win 8 games or 7 or 8 games to win a World Cup. You still can make it a lot more competitive. You can make it a lot more inclusive. Also, this national league, I also think, is the money going to go through to the right places, besides just keeping those players and those teams happy? Is it going to go into women's rugby? Is it going to go into under 21s, under 19 rugby? Is school rugby, grassroots rugby? Is it going to go to the 6 and 7 year olds that you introduced not to rugby but to the kind of touch and those kind of games? Introduce them slowly to the game. So yeah, I just want to see first that the players are taken care of. That's goal number 1. Take care of the players. Goal number 2, how is the money going to be managed? And am I going to know, as a layperson or as a person on the street, am I going to know where that money's going to? Because at the end of the day, it's $5 billion. And I'm sorry to say, I don't want to see the head of Rugby driving Bentleys and living in these huge big mansions when the money could be going to players in Madagascar. And so take care of the players, take care of the money, then decide on the competition. And then I'm okay. Then we must go forward with it. But listen, guys, what do you think? Really, I really want to know. And if you think I'm talking rubbish, tell me I'm talking rubbish. I want to know. It's about having an open discussion about what's best for rugby. And maybe by chance somebody in the upper echelons in rugby may just watch the channel by some miracle, and then they hear your voice. And so put it down below what you think of this competition. Don't say it's rubbish, it's constructive. Let's be constructive about it. Let's try to think constructive ways of creating a global competition that's for our players, money's controlled, and we're happy, we're entertained. But listen, guys, it's actually quite a hectic topic, this, because I get quite involved. I'm from the old school. I miss tours. I miss rugby tours. So you're talking real old school. Where you go, Wales would come to South Africa and they'd play all 4 Super Rugby sides, and then there'd be 3 tests, and I miss that. Where most people used to listen on the radio, and I'm going really old school, but I miss tours. And by having this National League, there'll never ever be another tour except for the Lions. That's it. The Lions will be the last tour. It will be the only tour that's left. And that seems kind of sad, because it's the best way to find out your opposition, because it's play 3 games, winner take all, and I've got my own opinions on that. Listen, guys, I hope you have a great day. Chat soon. Bye.